Yeah, how you doing? I just want to make another video for today. I want to make a video about once again Mahmoud Shah. In my opinion, I think he's the most avoided current world champion at heavyweight. I've spoken to many people and in the social media and many YouTubers that have channels and have communicated with them and their channels, and they tell me, oh, he's irrelevant. They don't want to talk about him. They say he's not popular. Uh, he's just all you hear is nothing but excuses of the current WBA heavyweight champion of the world. He just they just don't don't like the guy. You know. I believe the reason he's very avoided by the other heavyweights is because he's very competent when he boxes. He's a boxer puncher. He's very fluid with his movement. He could box. He's very hungry. He's something like what an AJ is, like a poor man's AJ version. Um, he wants to come into New York, United States also, and he has to create a hotbed for himself here. But unfortunately, nobody wants to sign up to fight him. He attained the WBA heavyweight champion of the world by dropping and outpointing Alexander Ostinov. Okay, this is a fighter that I only had at that time had one loss on his resume, and Manuel Charr, he wants to be called Mahmoud Charr, his real name, gave him his second loss and attained the champion, which was vacant. The championship was vacant. Um, as a heavyweight champion, he was going to set up to fight the number one contender that he had, Swift Fresokendo, uh, who has been waiting, hasn't fought nobody, and still is waiting for his opportunity to fight, to contest for that belt. And when he was contesting to fight for that belt, um, that particular fighter, what happened with him was he they accused Mahmoud Shah of being positive on um, PEDs or steroids and stuff. But at the same time that he took he submitted the A sample, which came out contaminated with some antibiotic steroid or something, he passed this B sample. So they couldn't strip him for the belt. Big Baby Miller tried to take that belt away from him, kept pushing for him and his team to take his belt. He was gonna fight the Romanian heavyweight, who was unbeaten at that time, a little unproven. Big Baby Miller gave him his first loss, and they couldn't take his belt. They couldn't take his belt. He still is the currently champion. Nobody wants to fight him. I think it's because his skill asset, his mobility, his ability to keep himself in shape, even though he's not active inside the ring. He's always in the gym. He's very marketable in the Eastern European circuit, in the German circuit. He's from Cologne, Germany. He has a great history. I mean, he recovered from gunshot wounds. Some troll was a internet troll was following him over there and shot him up, and he still recovered from that. So he has a great story, man. I just can't believe that the people here do not give him the opportunity. I think it's because he's the first Arabic heavyweight champion of the world, uh, who is currently living in Cologne, Germany. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons. They just don't like him because of his ethnicity. It's also he's very hard to fight. He is very mobile. He could box, move, throws a lot of punches at the time. He's trying to get a fight in his IG channel by late June or July. Uh, late June or early July. Um, I think if he fights a credible opponent, because he's the number one contender at the WBA rankings, and that's why I just can't understand how come AJ didn't choose him. They say that he was marketable. He's very marketable. He's very marketable. He's the number one contender. He's his mandatory, but he chose to fight as a substitute for Big Baby Miller being testing positive for HGH, IPO, EPO, and some other drug that he's on. He chose to fight. He chose to fight the 11th ranked WBA heavyweight fighter that was beaten once, uh, who has a problem with keeping himself in condition. He doesn't look like he trains. I mean, he looks a little toned, but the guy's obese. He's weighing right now currently 263. He doesn't look like a fit 263 because with Baby Miller being that he was taking drugs, he looked like a fit 300. Okay, he looked like a linebacker, and his style of fighting was that he would crowd you. He used his chest to put you on the ropes or on the corner, and had an unbelievable punch output. And you always had to be on the defensive. When he fought Gerald Washington, he proved that Gerald Washington was a big puncher, boxer, and he put him on the defensive, and he crowded the guy, wore him out, and knocked him out. But unlike Big Baby Miller, which I'm hearing from a lot of people, I mean, who to me, I'm not too knowledgeable about Big Baby Miller's style of fighting, and boxing. To tell the truth, I guess they never watched his fights. The guy is a total different animal than Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a boxer. He has a pretty good jab. His punches are not much harder than Baby Miller's. They say, I think that's a big mistake of people saying that he punches harder than Big Baby Miller, which I don't think he does. His style of fighting, he's a boxer mover. His power can't be that good because he has a loss against Joseph Parker, a fighter that Dillian White dropped, and was catching with concussive shots all through the night. So if Dillian White was able to hurt Joseph Parker, and this guy fought Joseph Parker and won 12 rounds. He looked like he faded in the fight too. He fights in spurts. This is a guy that's gonna fight against AJ, a unified heavyweight champion of the world, instead of fighting his number one contender. And to tell the truth, the only credible opponent that he could have picked, and he would have got the most respect, would have been him, Mahmoud Chad, the Diamond Boy, who's a very marketable heavyweight, and is a must-see fight. I mean, the guy is walking around with a version of your, a fraction of your WBA heavyweight championship, and you don't want to fight him. You chose to fight an 11th ranked fighter, who looks very, very badly out of shape. He looks like Bermane Stiverne looks in better condition than him. An opponent, ex-champion who has two losses, one a first round knockout to Deontay Wilder, and then got knocked out also by Joe Joyce, the gold WBA champion. Who, with the money that you guys are generating, and your promoter and your management team has, you could have negotiated to fight Joe Joyce, your gold champion for the WBA, but you chose who is gonna fight Alexander Ustinov, as a tune-up fight for his fight with Danny DeBose for the British heavyweight champion. So you could have negotiated a good deal with him as a possible substitute opponent. Also, you got another fighter who fought Amir Mansour. Amir Mansour's payday was 50,000, and he knocked him out. And he only fought for 8,000, and he just beat another fighter with one loss on his resume, Michael Wallace, by a second round knockout. And the guy even took a one knee, I think, in the first round. And everybody's saying that he's too slow. That's what I hear other people on YouTube saying, in the other boxing channels, that Efe Ajagba is too slow. But hey, man, with that kind of power that Efe Ajagba has, I mean, and he's very hungry right now. He's a very hungry heavyweight. I think they could have. He didn't even break a sweat in his last fight. He could have got him to fight AJ. I mean, if Big Baby Miller didn't want to fight, and the Shanghai bodies right now wanna make this fight, they could. I think I would have respected to see AJ fight Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba has looks to me like a heavyweight John the Beast Mugabe in there. I would have liked to see a guy like Efe Ajagba against AJ. If he wears himself out in the later rounds, and gives AJ a great fight for 8 rounds or 9 rounds, I would have liked that more better than Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz Jr. it looks like he's not working out appropriately. Whoever his nutritionist, coaches, um, he's not doing his job. The guy has a lot of mass, a lot of cellulite in his back. You could see it is flipping all over the place. He fights in spurts. His opponents are not that great opponents. He fought Alexander Dimitrenko, opponent that's been knocked, that Brian Jennings knocked out. He always loses when Alexander Dimitrenko, when he ever fights a quality opponent, he gets knocked out. He got knocked out with a body shot by Joseph Parker one time. He got knocked out by Brian Jennings, and then he just recently got knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr. Now Ruiz is being used as a opponent for a unification bout as a substitute. I mean, you got other better opponents in the WBA that could have been used for this fight. And I just mentioned the best candidates. He wanted to pick on little Mike Hunter Jr., who is an international WBA heavyweight champion. He won that belt by knocking out Alexander Ustinov and giving Ustinov his third loss on his resume. And now Ustinov is gonna be fighting Joe Joyce, the gold champion. So I mean, this guy's, even though he has losses, he's 6'5", and hey, he only got 3 losses in his resume, and he lost to high quality opponents in the WBA. So why not? I mean, that's to show you the quality of fighters that he could have picked from. He could have picked Joe Joyce. He could put it Mahmoud Charr. The money's dead. These guys are hungry. They would have loved. It would have been an honor for any of these heavyweights, like AJ says, to step in the ring with AJ. And I think AJ made a bad choice. Another stream, I said that he did a good choice, but I'm looking at the resume, and I'm looking at the resume of the other opponents. I mean, it's not a great choice, man. You're a unified champion. You won a title by knocking Charles Martin, undefeated heavyweight. You got another title by defeating on points Joseph Parker. You knocked out the only man to put into retirement and knock out Vladimir Klitschko was you, AJ. So I think you should look at your fans, and you should have been made a better choice. I hear from another boxing journalist saying that if it was a unification fight, you want to do it in the UK. Cool. But you're coming here to the US to build a platform for yourself, and now you want to fight Andy Ruiz, a fighter that looks like he's hanging out in a pub 4 or 5 times a week instead of hanging out 4 or 5 times a week in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Big Baby Miller was a little bigger, but he was toned, man. Big Baby Miller looked like a linebacker, but this guy doesn't look nothing like a linebacker. He got tattoos, more tattoos, and he looks like he hangs out in a pub. I mean, 4 or 5 times a week, man. He looks like he's not playing no time in the gym. So we have to be forced to watch this fight. I think this fight is gonna be worse than when you fought Eric Molina. He looks like he's gonna be blitzkrieg by you very easily. I think once he tastes your power, he's gonna get a reality check, and I think it's 3 or 4 rounds. 3 or 4 rounds. He's gonna be hurt. You're gonna start walking down. You're gonna have to bounce on your legs, AJ, and I think you're gonna put him out very quickly. I don't see anything that with that pity pat jab that he has, that little fast jab. He got fast hands, but he got no power on him. He's been fighting B and C class fighters at best. He fought his best opponent. His resume was a loss to Joseph Parker. That's the only opponent that he ever fought. He never fought Chris Arreola. I mean, Bermane Stivern's resume is better than his because he got two stoppages over how you call Chris Arreola on his resume. Okay, so even Derek Rawls is a better opponent than the opponents that Andy Ruiz Jr. fought. He had trouble with Sergey Lyokovich, over 40-year-old fighter, ex-WBO champion, that was stopped in 2 rounds. I say 2 rounds by Deontay Wilder. Had him having seizures on the floor when he hit him. And this guy went 10 rounds for a regional belt, and he had trouble with him. He ran out of gas. So stamina is gonna be an issue. Uh, AJ keeps himself always in tip top shape. I don't think Ruiz is gonna be able to have the stamina. He's gonna have the punching power, boxing asset, and abilities to hurt or confuse AJ. I don't care how great of a boxer he is. He don't have the stamina or the physical attributes to complement and help him acclimate to a world class fighter like AJ at this time. So yeah, so I just want to break down this fight, man. I want to give my opinion. Once again, I want to talk more about Mahmoud Shah. Mahmoud Shah is the current Arabic, the only Arabic heavyweight champion of the world in history. He is the current WBA regular heavyweight champ. He has a fraction of the WBA heavyweight championship. He's the number one WBA contender. I don't see if the fight can't be made with him and AJ, then why can't Deontay Wilder, after he dispatches in a spectacular fashion Dominique Brazil, another fighter that was unbeaten, drop Amir Mansour, a small heavyweight at best, uh, who was very aged. Uh, and luckily for Dominic Brazil, he cut himself in the mouth and had a freak injury in his mouth, and he would have been not lost. He lost that fight because he had dropped him. He was winning on the cards. He was boxing, but he decided to stay in stool because he had an inside injury from in that fight. So this is a fighter that got a title fight with AJ, and AJ he blitzkrieg the guy. The guy had no chance whatsoever. I mean, such a big man, and AJ trashed him. Okay, AJ trashed Dominic Brazil, and then I don't know how he fought some B class fighters. Fought some African cat, and him and the African cat were going toe to toe. Also got a stoppage wins against Eric Molina, and now all of a sudden he's been hanging out on the sidelines as a contender for the WBC, and being that nobody wants to fight, uh, in my opinion, the best current heavyweight champion was Deontay Wilder. I call him the Alabama Avalanche because he throws punches in bunches, and it's like an avalanche of punches. I mean, we seen what he did to Luis Ortiz. We seen what he did to Tyson Fury. He hit Tyson Fury with a couple of shots, and Tyson Fury was all over the place. Okay, luckily the ref saved him from that loss, that knockout loss, and he went to ESPN, and now he's gonna fight a guy called Tom Schwartz, a guy that I guess he's wearing shorts all the time or something, because I never seen this guy ever in my I never heard of him. They say he's been ranked for years for the WBO, but I never heard of him. And this is the opponent that he chose to fight instead of having a rematch, a respectable rematch against the current WBC heavyweight champion of the world. So what I'm trying to get at is Deontay Wilder's possible opponents is running thin. You know, because he has competition at the other side by AJ, and AJ has four belts. I say four belts. He has the WBA Super title. He has the WBO Heavyweight Championship and the IBF and the overlooked IBO Heavyweight Championship of the world, which should not be overlooked. It's a world title, man. It's a world title. It gives you exposure to the world champion. I see a young cat from South Africa. He's the IBO welterweight champion of the world. He looks like a young Tommy Hearns right now. He beat a couple of world champions already. He's another fighter on the come up. Thulani Mbembe. Big shout out to Thulani Mbembe from Cape Town, South Africa, who's also undefeated. So all you young cats at welterweight looking for an opponent, hey, holla my boy, he's the IBO champ. He got a world title around his waist, and he wants to unify too. So yeah, Errol Spence, holla my boy from South Africa. You looking for a next possible opponent? So yeah, going back to the heavyweight division, there's a lot of great heavyweights right now in the come up. They are hungry for those belts. So there's no reason for you guys to be fighting guys like Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz has to, if he wants to keep continuing hooting and hollering in the heavyweight division, he's gonna have to find himself a conditioning coach. He's gonna have to stay in the gym. He's gonna have to start hitting the doubling bag or something, because something he's not doing right in there. Maybe his intake of food or something. He's ODing on the starches. He should not have the body that he has if he's training at least 5-6 days a week. So yeah, so I'm gonna cut this video. I just want Mahmoud Shah to get an opportunity to unify Deontay Wilder. If nobody wants to fight you, then fight Mahmoud Shah for a fraction of the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the world, and move on to bigger and better things. And by defending 2 belts is better than defending 1. I know you're having problems making this fight with AJ, but eventually the opportunity will come for that unification, even if you have to go to the UK. So you guys have a great night. Just wanted to chop it up with you guys and make this little short video. I'm just getting tired of seeing this guy fight guys like Andy Ruiz Jr., like Eric Molina and Dominic Breazeale. I would like to see him step in the ring against a mobile heavyweight that boxes and moves, that has credibility. He's been in the ring with Vitaly Klitschko. He's been in the ring with Alexander Povetkin. He's been in the ring with Maurice Brandis. He has a win against Alexander Ustinov. Even dropped him, who's 6'6" like you. So give him an opportunity to fight for this championship. You guys take care and have a good night.